Man like Robbie, breaking news here. Claudio Ranieri has been sacked. Sacked as the manager of Leicester City. Only 9 months ago, he led them to the league title, but today he's been sacked. Even though last night he led Leicester to a very credible result away at Sevilla. They did lose the game, but 2-1. They got the away goal through Jamie Vardy. The spirits were high amongst the fans, and they were like, you know what, we're still in this tie. We can take them back to the KP and get something out of it. Well, the owners thought different, and he has been fired. Unbelievable that this guy who won the title has now been removed from his post. And if you look at it, actually, maybe it's not a good job to win the title, because Mourinho won the title previously, and then he was sacked the following year. And now, same's happened to Ranieri. So Conte, you better worry if you win the title this year. But it's absolutely incredible news. Let me have a look at the statement that Leicester have released. The vice chairman of the club said, "This has been the most difficult decision we have had to make in nearly 7 years since the King Power took ownership of Leicester City. But we are duty bound to put the club's long-term interests above all sense of personal sentiment, no matter how strong that might be. Claudio has brought outstanding qualities to his office. His skillful management, powers of motivation, and measured approach have been reflective of the high experience we always knew he would bring to Leicester City. His warmth, charm and charisma has helped him to transform perceptions of the club and develop its profile on a global scale. We will forever be grateful to him for what he has helped us to achieve." But he has been sacked, right? It was never our expectation that the extraordinary feats of last season would be replicated this season. Indeed, survival in the Premier League was our first and only target at the start of the campaign, but we are now faced with a fight to reach that objective and feel a change is necessary to maximise the opportunity presented by the final 13 games. So Claudio Ranieri, despite winning the title last year, has been sacked. And I suppose now everybody's going to ask the question, who will be the next manager? Will they bring back Nigel Pearson, the previous manager who helped them to survive, remember, before Claudio Ranieri came in? Because maybe they're looking at it and they're saying to themselves, we need a guy that's going to be able to lift us, from out of the bottom. And maybe Ranieri, who was brilliant last season, isn't that man. Maybe that's how they're looking on it. But which manager are they going to bring in? That's going to be the interesting thing. Would it be Alan Pardew? Because there's not a lot of obvious candidates out there at the moment that could come in instead of Ranieri. But it really is amazing news that the guy who, Leicester were 5,000 to 1 at the start of that season to win the title. Ranieri's led them to the most glorious, victory in Leicester City's history, and he's been sacked. It just goes to show that there's just no sentiment in football. Let me see what you guys have had to say, because I've been asking you guys to let me know what you have thought of the sacking of Claudio Ranieri. Oliver Madden says it's one of the worst managerial decisions I have ever seen. So he's not too happy with it. James Kenny, who's a Chelsea fan, says, why is it when a club does a statement backing their coach, within a week or two, they get sacked? It always happens. That is so, so true. Seb the vet says, this shows how pathetic football ownership has become. No loyalty, no compassion, wonderful manager and highly respected, but he's gone. Ben Farrant says, it was harsh, but it had to happen. And there are quite a few fans out there that are saying that, listen, they had to make a change. But then why didn't they make the change before last night? Because you let him go, do that Champions League game, lift his spirits. Then he comes home and, yeah, you know what, you didn't do too bad last night, Claudio, but you're fired. Wow. Big Boss 550 says, terrible decision. Leicester City will regret it. Elowin says, Wenger goes for 12 years without a league trophy and keeps his job, and Ranieri gets 9 months. Kerwin says, pretty idiotic due to the fact that they have a home tie in the Champions League. If they didn't go through, then he should have gone. But I think it looks like what the ownership are saying there, they're more concerned with their league form, which, let's have it right, it's been horrible. I mean, you know, they've lost 5 of their last Premier League matches. Their last 5 Premier League matches, they have lost. That is terrible. Terrible. They have not scored a league goal in 2017. That is bad. That is relegation form. And you think about it, this big brand that they've built up now at Leicester from winning the title, to go down the next season would be highly embarrassing, would be highly damaging to the brand. And as we can see with big clubs like Aston Villa that have gone down this season, or shall I say last season, they are really struggling to come back up. So there's no givens that you would get back up. But it's just a truly horrific situation. Luke CFC says, I hope they get relegated, to be fair. So he's got no sentiment there. And Humberto says, when was the last time you heard a player getting fired from the Premier League? And that's true. Those players have to have a long, hard look at themselves. Vardy, he did score last night, but when's the last time he scored a goal in the league? Mahrez. I mean, has that been Mahrez who's been playing this season? He's been awful. You know, Drinkwater, Albrighton, all these players who were wonderful last season, the defenders, Hoof and Morgan. I don't know, they've really let the manager down here. It's really, really sad to see Ranieri go, because he really is one of the good guys of football. It was really amazing what Leicester achieved last season. But were the board right? Are they looking on it and saying, listen, we've got no time for sentiment, and, you know, if we're not winning things, or if it's looking like we're going to go down, we have to make a decision here and now in order to save us. We've seen these decisions in the past where, you know, clubs have decided to change their manager, and then you've seen an uplift and teams have been saved. We're going to find out whether it's a good decision or not in the next 13 games. What do you guys think? I'm going to do a poll here. Do you think it was right to sack Ranieri or wrong? Let us know in the poll. Also, leave your comments below. But the breaking news tonight is that Claudio Ranieri has been sacked.